Hello, everybody. I'm Patrick Völker, Global Product Lead, Google Web Designer, and I'm very happy to present you the 3D model editor. So what we're doing now is we create a 3D car configurator from scratch. And after that, we even get into a little bit 3D gaming. So we're going to create a hyper casual game. For those who don't know, hyper casual games are the ones that you can play with one or two thumbs or fingertips. So first of all, let's have a look at the templates. We want to create something like car configurator that is already available, just to show you, give you a sense for what we're doing from scratch. Call it template 3D demo. You see the car here, and when we preview it, actually, this is what we're going to do, except of this auto scrolling, but it's just a feature that can be added simply with an event. So you see we have a car in 3D, and then we click the colors. So, but now we go from scratch. We create a new file. I want to call it car configurator 3D demo. Very fancy name. And yeah, we go for display 360. Okay, let's start. So this is our stage, it's just a 300 by 250. I make it double so you can better see it. And at the beginning, I go to the components panel and drag the 3D model viewer on stage. In the properties, I select the GLB model. It's a 3D model that I've created before in Blender, but you could also use Cinema 4D or Maya. So it's a very futuristic car. And now you can see the pencil icon on the bottom right. And if we double click that, we have now many new options that you can use. So you can see the car that I'm already rotating. So, and now, and this is new, we have access to all the parts of the car. So first of all, I want to customize the body. I give it a red color, a little bit darker maybe, okay, and make it a little bit more metallic. So it's something that we didn't have before. You will really have access to all the materials, textures, and apply new textures and so on. This looks great, a little bit less metallic and a little bit more rough. Okay, let's go for this. You can also have normal maps and emission maps and also the occlusion. And then we go for the window. The window looks very pale so far. Let's make it a dark blue one and very metallic then, so that it really looks like glass here. Okay, very metallic and very smooth, not so rough. Okay, this looks very shiny. I like it. Okay, you can see it's a car like a little bit like Back to the Future. This is gonna fly. It doesn't really roll. It can do both. It's a car I invented. Hopefully one day it's gonna be produced. And the next thing is the wheels. I don't like the white one. Let's make it very black. Dark, yes. Now the lights. So for the lights, you can see now the emission here. If I change the color of the lights, so the difference to the base color is actually that it's more shiny. It doesn't produce light on its own, but it's very shiny. You can see it looks very bright. And if I apply texture, which we're going to do a little bit later, then you can see that only parts of the texture will highlight it then. So this is our car and 360 degrees. Okay, great. And now there are more functions, components. We have lighting, the camera, and can add hotspots. And first of all, I want to change the environment. So we can create a sphere around it with a texture. The texture that I'm selecting is, I've downloaded a few. Let's take the white street. If you need some textures for, and especially the HDI maps, then you can download them from polyhaven.com. They provide some free awesome ones. So this looks nice, but the car looks very dark. So that's why I provide the HDR map, which can also be downloaded. And here it is. It's loading. Great. And you can see now the car looks really, because of the HDR map around, it looks really like a part of the sphere here of the image. Let's make the exposure. We can change exposure, which is maybe a little bit darker or brighter. Intense the shadows here, and the softness. So it's actually a shadow below the car, very hard to see. Under the car, yeah, there's a shadow. Let's make it a little bit softer. Great. because it fits better to the environment. So, and now let's check the camera. So first of all, we want to define the initial camera view, how we see the component or product we want to present initially when it starts, before the user's dragging around. So we can change the yaw, the pitch, and the zoom. And then we can change the pivot, so the source, the origin of our 3D model. I want to put it a bit below. So if I go up and down, you can see I can change the height of the car on the street. It's a flying car or floating car anyway, so well, that's too much. This is too deep. Let's find a great position here. Yeah, okay, this looks good. Wait. Okay, now this looks good. I'm happy with that. And then let's change the angle. So the angle, how far the camera can see it, is actually kind of the lens of the camera that you can use. So if you go close a little bit with the camera, like kind of a zoom, but with different focus, this is nice. And this is also a good size for creating a car configurator. We have space for the buttons. Now we can define how far the camera can go around. So in this case, it's just from angle 0 to angle about 180. So you can see this is where we can go. Maybe there are some parts on the object that shouldn't be seen. Let's go 360 again. And the same is also for the 360 up, top, down angle, but we also make it full 0 to 360 degrees. Okay, just for your awareness. And now we can limit the zoom. If you go very, very close, you can see this is not very, and also that you can see all the textures and the details and so on, not very nice. So we don't want the user to go that close. That's why we limit the camera distance here. And when it's basically 0, you can even have a look inside the car and there's no seats, very uncomfortable. So we don't want to show this. Let's go at least a distance of 5 meters. Okay, that's too far away now. Maybe make it 2 meters, zoom in. Okay, I'm happy with this. Enough details. Okay, but not enough. And the maximum then maybe make it 5 meters. Let's check the values here. If we zoom back with a mouse wheel, for example, or with 2 fingers, then okay, great. I'm happy with that. This looks nice. This looks nice. I'm gonna take this. Okay. Then finally, we can add some hotspots. Hotspots are points on the object that I can click. So if I, for example, click now on this position, there is an extra, let's call it ball or flat 2D circle shape that is attached to the mesh here. And I want to have it be an info card. So if the user clicks on it, let's call it a wing door. My car is having a wing door, of course, like the good old 90s. I wish them back. So, and when the user's clicking on them, and we're going to see this now live in a preview in a few seconds, I will show you, then info card will pop up and give some more information. We can change the images. So in between, I could have a mouse over, a mouse down, and a mouse up image. But I don't need it. It's just the colors. I'm pretty sure you know how to deal with it. Have another hotspot here. I want to attach one hotspot to the chats below, which shows that we can fly. Okay, this looks great now. Perfect. And I also apply info card here and want to tell them this car is able to fly. More than 40 years after Back to the Future 2, it is possible virtually in our banner. So remember Back to the Future. We got the technology. Good. So let me finally check before we save. Camera, everything is fine. Going back, yes, I'm happy with that. Okay, save it. Let's save it. And now we add some buttons to just make it as similar as possible to our former created from the templates that we've seen. So we create just simply 2D shapes, rounded 3, let's say, circles with colors. Let's give it a gradient, make the choice red, and make it rounded corners. Okay, and then we give it a name, button red, that we can easier assign the events. I copy it and put it down and make it, let's make it blue. Perfect. And maybe a third last button to give it a mysterious black car design like Night Industrial 2000. So we attach the events. If I click on the red button, you can see we can set different camera sections. We can move the camera around as we like, set target zoom, and so on. But I want to go for the material color. So I select this, apply it on our model. The material name was body. We want to change the body. We have to remember this. And the value is 1, red, full 100%. We do exactly the same with the blue. Add event, right-click, mouse click, 3D model viewer, and we set material color, body again, and 0.8 blue. Yes, great. And black. Add event, mouse click. Of course, you can apply later also the touch event, but we're just going to go quick here. Body and keep everything on 0. And now it's time to have a preview in the browser. So the button's already loaded, and now we can drag and go around, circle with the camera. We can change the colors easily. So already well done. And we see, yeah, nice. Okay, now it looks very plastic-like. Maybe change the material for the body again a little bit. So independent from the color, let's go back to the double click here, body, and maybe make it a little bit more metallic and less rough, so it doesn't look too much plastic. Okay. And you see we have some animations here, levitate and wing door. These are animations that have been prepared before. Let's save it and apply it to our car. So we create an event, the 3D model viewer, if hotspot is clicked. And this is what we're going to do now. Hotspot is clicked. When the user is clicking on it, then the 3D model viewer should start an animation. Play animation, or the model viewer, and the animation name was levitate. I think it was levitate. Yes, here we are. And let's preview again. We circle around. If I click on it, you see the info card, and at the same time, the car is hovering. And it's a perfect animation. We can move it around, and we can click on the wing door. There's no event attached so far. And while the whole animation is going on, we can still, of course, change the colors. Yeah, so parallel things, user can do what they want. That's nice. Okay, I'm also more happy now with the materials. So the problem is, you saw on the events, we only have one hotspot click. That's why we need to go a little bit to the code view. Shock for the designers, but it's very easy. Let's check the code here. So this is for the blue click, the black click, but here we are. If hotspot is clicked, you can see it's GW. It's a predefined function, and you can see now we have here GW3D model viewer, play animation, levitate, and I want to have a second animation which was called wing door as far as I remember. And now we can check. You can see here there's the event variable that will be given to the function, and I can ask which hotspot has been clicked. So the event.detail.index, if it's 0, that was the first hotspot they've created, and the second one has the number 1. So if I click on hotspot, the code will just check if it's the first or the second hotspot. We can check also here now in our custom code section. Okay, let's try it. Preview. And let's see if I click now on the wing door. Yes, you can see the door is opening. A little bit dark, but you can see it has been opened. And when I click levitate, the levitate info card is opening, and the car is opening, and I can open the door. That's nice. And while the animation is going on, I can still change the colors. So this looks great to me. And now with that, let's go directly to the hyper casual gaming. For this, I replaced the GLB version with another one, the same car in here, but added some tubes. So this will gonna be a 3D game. And if we scroll a little bit, wait a second, let me show you. The car is still there, but it has lost its colors. but the hotspots are still there. Okay, here's the game, here's the car, and we want to do now a game where the car is driving through the tubes, and we have to press left or right just in time to not drop out of the car. So first of all, we change the environment. It's going to be like Veritron-like now in the space, the computer space. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is how eternity looks like. I like it. You can also change how the emission and how the environment changes the color a little bit of the whole situation. So let's change the tube, make it more metallic, make it shiny, especially when we're having light that we can see better where the direction is going. And we want to, as promised, we're going to make it a little bit Tron-like. So let's apply a texture. It's not really visible yet. Let's make it, you remember the Tron suits and so on, they're really brightful. And we do the same texture for emission and make it bright white. Now this looks awesome. This is how Tron should look like. And we also changed the car a little bit from the texture again. Let's make it red again, dark red. Good, but I also want to apply some shiny features, all the light cycles and so on. They have so awesome light decoration. So for this, I take a very simple texture here, just a blue cross. And if I go closer and I make it very bright in this emission, wait a second. So it's not visible here. Take a look at the wheels now. There's a blue, shiny, thin line. Okay, this is how I like it. This is good. Okay, so the game will be very similar like Temple Run. And you can see the animations that have been applied. There are just 4 of them. I call them LL for coming from left and going left curve next. We have an animation left-right, which is coming from a left curve and then going to the right. And you see some awesome rotation effects in here. Then RL, which is coming from right, going to the left, finally. And the last animation, and there are just 4 of them, really easy animated, is RR for right, coming from the right, going to the right. Yeah. So let's maybe start with the left at the beginning and change the camera. Oh, wait a second. I see the hotspots are still there. Just delete them. We don't need them now for the game. Let's now define the initial camera view. You might now imagine that full rotation and so on wouldn't make sense too much. Keep the autoplay, stop it here, that we have a better control of the camera. Change the orbit of the car. 0.4 is far now. Yeah, make it centered, that's good. So we can see the tunnel and the set position. Okay, we're a little bit closer to the car now. Okay. We can also change the angle. It's a combination of the set value and the angle here. Okay, this looks good. I can rotate, I can see the tunnel here. So far, it's very similar to what we did already with the car configurator before. Now define the YAR here from side to side. This should be limited, as we don't want to leave the tube here and see that the tunnel is actually ending, because we want to save some textures here, or vertices. Okay, this is too far. Let's make it from -50 degrees to +15. Yeah, this looks nice, but top down, still we're leaving the tube. As we start with a 90 degrees pitch, we should maybe -20, +20. Let's see how we're going. Oh, still too far. Then maybe make it 80 and 110. This looks good. Only on the top left and top right and so on. Okay, this is fine. Okay, let's keep it like it is. And now we limit the camera distance, of course. Try with 1 meter. Okay, that's too close, maybe. Maybe make it bigger. That's too far away. Check 2 meters and 3 meters. Let's zoom in and out. Okay, I kind of like this. So the user should be able to also move the camera to the position that he likes the best when playing the game. Check the animation again, autoplay it again at the beginning of the game, and save. So first of all, we don't need the buttons anymore here. Well, we could do a very awesome 3D configurator with a gamification thing, but not in this. We want to keep it as clear as possible. Instead of, I add a tab area. So where the user will tap on the right, turn right, and I'll add another tab area to the left, but first finish this one. So yeah, this size is good. Let's check the properties. I call it turn right. And I make a copy and put it on the left border. You can see it here. And this one I call turn left. Good. And here I add an event. I go for mouse click again, and the model viewer should play the animation. But wait a second, we have the animation going on. That's why we take that animation time. The animation time for right should be right. So we will always go right in this case. Animation time should be, it should start on frame 0. And the same here, add event for turning left. Mouse click, model viewer, set animation time, not play animation. And here we go, left, and the animation time should also start after 0 seconds. And let's have a preview how this looks like. So we can turn left and move around and turn left again and turn left again. So actually this is the gameplay, very boring right now, but you could easily see how you could change with 2 or 3 lines of code that it changes random based from left to left, right, and so on. I hope you learned a lot and I wasn't too quick and too fast with the talking. Thank you very much and goodbye.